Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I of course want to start off by giving all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, and Yahushai, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The name of this lesson is going to be, When Shall These Things Be? Alright, and we're going to start off in the book of, let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 13. And we'll start at verse 3. Alright, so this is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 3. It says, And as he, which he is Yahushai, as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter, James, and John, and Andrew asked him privately, and saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming? Or Slakia, what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? And Yahushai answered them, and Slakia began to say, Take heed, lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and they shall deceive many. Now let's stop there for a second. You have this one cat on there, which I know him. He's talking about, he's that concave earth guy, right? He calls himself the concave earth Christians, right? Which he's on there teaching that he is Christ. That's what he says. He says that he is Christ. And if you don't follow him, well, then you can't receive salvation. And then, Sakari did a debate last year with an individual, that was claiming that he was Christ. And then, there's another, 10, 20,000 people, on YouTube, on the internet, who claim that they are Christ, right? And that you have to follow them to receive salvation. So there we go. All right, this one thing that Christ said, would be taking place, in the last days, which we're in the last days now. If you can't see that way, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right. But you see all these things happening, man. We're going to get into it. All right. Anyway, verse 7. And when ye shall hear wars and rumors of war, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not yet be. Right. And what just happened recently, man? You just had the whole conflict with Israel and what was it, Gaza, right? The whole conflict with that, right? They're firing, rockets back and forth. I believe it was 2 weeks they were doing it. Now you had, I want to say maybe 500 casualties, adding all of the, the deaths together from each side. Probably about 400 or 500 people died from that. Maybe a little less, but, that's just, a sign that Christ gave, man. All right, that you were going to have these things, but the end is not. Yeah, right. The end is not. The world's not going to end today. The world's not going to end tomorrow. The world's not going to end next week. Right. The world's not even going to end this month. But you know what? It's close though. And how can you tell? Well, because Christ is giving, the signs to look out for. Right. That we'd see. When you see all these things happen, you'll be aware that these are the last times, man. All right, matter of fact, bear with me just a second. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 1. It says, He answered me then, and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the Highest will begin to visit the world which he had made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right, and we're seeing that right now, man. Right, earthquakes and uproars of the people. I mean, hell, every single day there's hundreds of earthquakes happening around the world, man. You got a riot, probably about 5 riots going on right now, as I speak, man. I mean, damn, man, it isn't even a joke at this point, with the amount of stuff that's going on. But hey, all these things that we see going on, man, we were warned about these things, 2,000 years ago, when Yahushai, walked the earth. He told us, look out for these things. Okay, anyway, going back to the book of Mark, the 13th chapter, the 8th verse. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows," right? And we're in the beginning of sorrows right now, man. I mean, it's evident, man, that 2020, all the way, to 2021, which we're in the month of June, right? June 1st. Today, so we're in the beginning of sorrows, man, right? The whole world's been under a whole global pandemic. You got to watch what you say on here, or call it a pandemic. But even if it was planned, right? Even if it was man-made and planned, well, wait a second. The Most High still did it though, because according to what is that? Proverbs, the 21st chapter, the first verse, that the Lord puts the faults into the minds of these kings. Another one as well. Let's see, what is it? Isaiah 56 and verse 14, right? "I, the Lord, I create the smith that blows the coal in the fire, and that brings forth an instrument of his work," right? So the Lord put it into their minds to do this. Why? Because if you go to Amos, the 3rd chapter, the 6th verse, it says, "If there is evil in the city, has the Lord not done it?" Right? So, the evil going on in the world, the Lord's behind it, right? The Lord, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he's the one who's behind all of these, iniquities, and the good that happens in the world, man. Right? But, you won't learn that in church because these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, bear with me a second. As I said, we don't got to get the entire thing. We just got to get a couple precepts. Let's go to the book of Luke, the 21st chapter. All right, Luke, chapter 21, and verse 7 says, "And they asked him," and him is Yahushua, and the they is the disciples, saying, "Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass?" And he, Yahushua, said, "Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near, ye shall not therefore go after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not afraid. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet." And he said, he unto them, "Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven." Right, and that's, hey, look, man, if it wasn't enough with what we see going on the physical earth right now, man, I mean, hell, in the heavens, man, there's all types of crazy stuff going on. I remember, I want to say maybe 10 months ago, a lot of us brothers, man, we witnessed there was, by the moon, there was like a UFO up there, man, for like nights on end, right? It was like, right up there next to the moon, man. Right? Nobody knew what the hell it was. Right? The news didn't talk about that, though, even though millions of people could see it. Right? But nobody knew. It was just something up there by the moon. Right? And it wasn't a star because it was gone a week later. It was there a week. It was gone, never seen again. Right? You got, all of these UFO sightings, all over the world being recorded and uploaded to YouTube every day, man. We got, all types of crazy stuff going on in the sky. And I mean, hell, it's getting so bad now that even the United States government, they have to come out and now admit that they know that there is something up there, and they have to inform the public. That's what's going on in the news right now, right? They got all this talk about these UFOs. Nobody knows what they are. Which we know what they are, but the average person, would we believe that they're these aliens from other planets and whatnot. But they, going back to the precept, Christ told us of these things. Anyway, bear with me a second. All right, that's all I'll get there. And of course, we'll go to the famous one, right, where Christ told the apostles the signs to look out for, right, which really all of these are reiterations of the same thing, because all of the Gospels, right, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're all the same accounts, they're the same story given by different individuals, right? So Christ went over it with them, but each of them wrote it down for their own in their own gospel, all right? But Matthew gives the most, may I say, what's the word I'm looking for? In depth, for lack of better words, examples. All right, anyway, Matthew chapter 24, and we'll start at verse 4. Actually, let's start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed, that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Say that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, the end isn't yet. Right, the world isn't going to end tomorrow. The world's not going to end next month. Right, because first of all, the mark of the beast has to come out, which the mark of the beast is the implantable microchip underneath the skin. And what was that? I did a video not too long ago. Don't know if I released it yet, but it was a clip from the interview of Aaron Russo, when he was talking about the Illuminati, or the Rockefellers, the global elites of the world, and he was an insider. He talked with all of them. They told him that their plan is to, imprint, or let me rephrase myself, imprint or implant, everybody with microchips under their skin. And it's like, well, wait a second. That goes back to the prophecy of this book that's 2,000 plus years old. It's like, wait a second. It said they were going to make everybody receive a mark in their hand in order to buy and sell. It's like, well, wait a second. You see how that clearly connects? As how would somebody back then know about this? Is because, well, they were shown it by a divine intelligence. Right? But, it's another thing as well, man. Because, the true way to understand the scriptures is you have to deal with the prophecies of the book, man. And that's, what is that? That's Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. It says what? That the testimony of Jesus, or Yahushua, is the spirit of prophecy. That's why, if you ask, a Christian to break down certain prophecies of the scriptures, they can't do it. It's like, they say, I got the testimony of Christ. Well, okay, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? A lot of the times they can't break it down. So, hey, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. It says, Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right, and that's what's going on right now, man. Right, there isn't much love, left in the world right now. Right, everybody's becoming hateful. I mean, hell, you're having, just matter of fact, just yesterday or the day before, I heard that there was, a mass shooting down in Miami. Right, where, like 20 people were in critical condition, and, a couple people lost their lives, man. I think it was like a mall shooting or something like that. But hey, man, it just shows you, man, that, people, don't have any love for one another anymore. And that goes back to the scriptures. Anyway, it says, verse 13, But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. Right, and we're coming to the fulfillment of that right now, man. You have congregations and groups all over the four corners of the earth, which the four corners of the earth are not physical corners, right? It's parabolic, meaning all over the earth, that are teaching, man. Okay, you have tens of thousands of followers on YouTube, man. Hey, so, hell, the elect could be sealed by this point. And also I want to make a point real quick. Verse 13, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved, right? So that cuts that whole doctrine. You got Mind of God on this channel. He's talking about, the whole rapture thing. He said in a video yesterday, he did, he made a mention that, the rapture is most likely in the order of days, right? Like maybe 10, 15 days, 20 days away is what his whole teaching is, which our teaching is what? That we got to go through the Great Tribulation. And then after that, you'll receive salvation if you're of the elect, right? We all have to go through the time of trouble, right? The whole world has to go through it, but so do the elect, all right? But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to say shalom.